Hey, what's up, guys? It's Rebecca Mormon. We are getting ready to air our 3-part series on Wrestlemania. It's been a long time coming. Thank you guys for tuning in to listen. We know it took a long time for it to get here. We apologize. We just had some things in life come up that have been pretty busy, kept us on our toes, but they're here, and we're ready for you guys to listen. So enjoy.
Welcome back to this special 3-part little mini-series that does not include Ryan McDaniel and Peter Lewis. It includes the female lead of the show. It is me, Rebecca Mormon. My husband, Matt. There was a Kingers.
Yeah, we had a dog.
Got down as soon as I got into my reporter voice.
I mean, as soon as you went into it, he's like, I don't know who that human is.
So, if you're just joining us, we have already went over night 1 of WrestleMania, which is where we went to in person for our honeymoon. We're going to go over night 2 in this episode, and then in episode 3, we are going to go over WrestleMania World, WWE World, whatever you want to call it, WrestleCon, and Monday Night Raw. As we said, episode 1, we did not go to Friday Night SmackDown. It was just a choice. Yes, thank you for turning the mic towards me again. We did not go to Friday Night SmackDown. That was just a choice we made. We decided to get Panda Express because we love Panda Express. We were craving Chinese food, and we watched it in our hotel room. And that was after we spent all day at WWE World. Ended up being a really good choice, but we'll talk about that more next episode. So we're going to get into night 2. In night 1, we kind of talked about the set. We talked about kind of the entrances as a whole. We dove into a little bit of night 2 stuff when we were kind of talking about the atmosphere and like the entrances and all that stuff. But now we're going to kind of get into a little bit more of the nitty-gritties of the matches themselves. Part of what I did in episode 1 that I'll do here too is we did also go back and watch the footage on Peacock. And so we said, what did we feel like translated better, maybe live in person? What did better, maybe on TV? Because we also did get some feedback from Peter and also my brother-in-law. So, Matt, do you want to... Now that mic is really pointing towards me. And do you want to lead us off? Because this was probably what you said was one of your favorite matches of the whole weekend, was what led off.
Yeah. Well, first of all, the mic is pointing out at you because as I watch the little bars over there, I see mine are really, really big because I'm loud. So, yeah, it points more at you.
So, Father, I am not loud.
See, now you're loud. See, you weren't talking like that. You were talking like sweet little Becca. No, I am messing with you, and we are messing around with, so one of my favorite matches of the whole weekend. I mean, I don't want to go too crazy here and say that of the shows we've been to live, is this the best match we've seen? Like, as far as, like, being a match goes. Because I think, like, the Triple Threat of Night 1, it has the added layer of being an angle as far as kind of just being a match.
A straight-up wrestling athletic match.
Yeah. I think this is the best match we've ever seen.
In terms of, athleticism, yes. There was, the added angle of the storyline with Seth and Roman and Punk. But also the wrestling there wasn't bad either. It was excellent. So, I mean, like, those two are neck and neck for me because we've been to a couple house shows, and then we also did the Royal Rumble of 2020.
Ricochet versus Dominic Mysterio. That match ruled at the house show we went to.
Was that in
That was
Toronto?
The one in KC. That was the KC house show. We went to Sierra.
Oh, okay. Yes.
That match was also awesome. But no, I do. I think Io Sky versus Bianca Belair versus Rhea Ripley. That's the match we're referring to. I never actually set that up.
Well, I said it was the first match of the evening. But people don't know.
So it's for the Women's World Championship, and basically the story of this match going into it was Io doesn't belong here. We've got two of the biggest stars, the kind of the Rock and Austin of the women's division at this time, and it's like, hey, Io Sky, you're just the Kurt Angle, the Chris Jericho. You don't belong here with us. And she said, yes, I do. And she pointed at herself. And my favorite thing, I love the point. It's like Io Sky does a flip-de-doo-dah onto everybody and wipes everybody out. Then she just goes up and, look at me, guys. That was really cool. And I did that. That was me.
So Io came out first. Basically her own spiel. It's her classic entrance. I mean, that was just super cool. The super loud pop. Because obviously everyone loves Io. She does belong here, and the storyline's that she's not, but the crowd's behind her. She's behind herself. She just had to show Bianca and Rhea. Bianca's entrance was really special. We found out on the commentary that, because we couldn't really see far off, because we could tell that there was some little Biancas with some hair. We could tell that there was something going on, but like we were also trying not to watch the screen. I'm not even sure if they showed it. I'm not sure if the screen was there yet, because at the start of the entrances, they'll have this like the nameplate up, and then they'll transition into the video feed. But so I think at that point, till she could start coming down the ramp, we didn't see her. We just saw her nameplate. So we were like, okay, what's going on? We'd see a bunch of little Biancas again, which I love that that's her thing. It's just going for a bunch of little Biancas. But then when we watched the feed, and then they were like, that's her stepdaughter. So it's Montez Ford's daughter was like the main one, because she was dressed in silver. Or no, she was gold. And Matt goes, she was in gold. And Matt goes, is that Bianca?
I thought it was just her.
But no, it wasn't. But that was super cool. That was super special. So yeah, it was a classic Bianca WrestleMania entrance. Yeah. And then Rhea had
and by the way, real quick on Bianca, also her gear with the roses, I thought looked awesome too. Bianca, the gear is always great. Mm-hmm. Like that's one thing she does herself. It's always just spot on. It's excellent.
And then Rhea just had her like, I don't even know what to call it. It was her like skeleton mask, because wasn't it like bone fingers kind of covering her forehead, kind of thing. I mean, it's just a classic Rhea Ripley entrance. They all had their own entrance. Basically, it was very much themselves. Bianca got a lot of boos.
Yeah. Let's talk about that for a second.
Let's go into that.
I was one of the few people in there cheering for Bianca Belair. And I really am curious and hopeful, and we'll see, because on SmackDown afterwards, we found out that she suffered a hand injury, so she's going to miss some time. I don't think it'll be a ton, but probably a month, maybe 6 weeks kind of thing. I don't know. I feel like if you were just looking at the storyline, there's no reason to be booing Bianca Belair. There's every reason to be booing Rhea Ripley. Rhea does not belong in this match, quite frankly. She lost her title. It was a whole thing we talked about in the preview. My theory is that Bianca was getting booed simply because she is not Rhea Ripley, and she is not Io Sky. Quite frankly, I think that the storyline is actually why people are cheering Io Sky as heavily as they are in this situation. And I think Rhea Ripley has that just untouchable thing right now where she's just going to get that levels of cheers.
And they needed someone to boo.
Yeah.
And Bianca was going on, she's pointed out she has a WrestleMania streak. She had a WrestleMania streak. Yes. So, and maybe it was one of those, it's like, I don't know. But I mean, like, I think we even saw on like the promos, like obviously she kept her cool, but I think part of her was like, okay, why are we booing me? Like, what's the point here? I mean,
yeah, no, like I don't understand, and so I'm curious just to see moving forward when she does come back.
Yeah.
Are the fans turning against Bianca, or were the fans just more into Rhea
and they needed someone to boo?
So therefore, Bianca's the person who then gets the boos that are in our system. I don't know. I feel like if she goes right into a thing involving Jade and Naomi, Bianca's going to right back to cheers. You know? And I know we talked this way back in the Royal Rumble preview, I was ready for singles star main event Bianca Belair to come back, because it's been a while. You know, her whole thing with Jade Cargill was a year plus of tag team stuff. And so I was ready for singles main event Bianca Belair to come back. And, I mean, she came through in the match, too. There was just some incredible power spots with her and Rhea both. Io doing all the fun flip use, all of the things that you mentioned that we didn't get out of Charlotte Tiffany. Io Sky then said, okay, I'll take all of the ones they didn't do, and I'll just do those on top of the ones I was going to do anyway.
Yeah.
And so you'll get them. Don't worry, you'll get them all. They're just all going to be me.
Yeah.
That'll point at myself and have a lot of fun doing it. So it was excellent. It was everything you wanted this match to be with those three. You got the hair whip at the end there, too.
Which, we heard that. I mean, it's just as loud as it sounds on camera.
Yeah, as loud as you think it is. That is how.
And we all went, ooh.
Yeah. And in the end, you know, it kind of was perfect too. Where what was it? Was it KOD?
KOD
right? So
into
Io gets kind of plopped onto the turnbuckle.
Yep.
Bianca grabs her. KOD flips over, cover over the moonsault onto Bianca. 1, 2, 3. And that's kind of, I think, exactly what I would have wanted that finish to be in a way. I maybe would have flipped it had Rhea be the one to take the pin, but, you know, it being Bianca and Rhea focusing on each other,
Yep.
Io jumps on top of him, gets the win.
And what I said in the preview was that it was going to almost be, not in terms of it being a sloppy move, but they were going to be so focused on each other that Io capitalizes.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. Super loud cheer for Io.
Yeah.
I think at one point you said this probably is the loudest cheer.
But it gets trumped.
But then, it gets trumped real fast. Is that the next match?
No, not yet. We have the, were you ready to move on?
But one thing that did really shock me, which I'm not even sure if they said it on commentary or if I just saw it on social media, Io's the first Japanese winner of maybe a title at WrestleMania.
I think it was a women's match. It may have also been men's, because I can't think of a Nakamura win, but more or less, that just means Asuka.
Was it just a WrestleMania win in general, or was it a WrestleMania title win? I don't remember. But I was just like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Think of Asuka. Like, that is just
Yeah.
shocking.
Yeah,
But
Asuka's the one there.
Io Sky is literally on top of the world. And I was kind of down on her for a while when she did her first title run, last year when Bayley won. I was kind of like, what's the deal? What's the deal with Io? But the thing is, with this storyline here, and that move was perfect at the start. Bianca and Rhea are in their face. Io goes try and intercept. They try to put their hands up, and she grabs them. That was the perfect start.
I think also it speaks to, there are a lot of people who they thrive as a babyface, or they thrive as a heel. Io thrives as a babyface. Because I think that was, because that was kind of your introduction, because, we don't watch much NXT. I've watched a bit more than you have, but not a ton.
And when she came up, it was Bayley brought her up with Damage Control.
Yeah, so your introduction to her was a heel.
And I was like, and then, she had her first title run. I was just kind of like, okay, it's Io. Okay, cool. I don't understand why she's getting this big of a push. There wasn't also the mid-card titles yet for the women. But I didn't get it. Now I get it. Now I'm on board. I am a full Io Sky.
I think we both said
Io Sky.
We just want her to be our friend.
Yeah. Oh, I want
to
be Io's friend so bad.
We want to be her friend. We want to just hang out with her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we could pull up a chair, have Io Sky here at the table with
absolutely,
us. And then we would all just point at her because she's the best. Next match, it was our guy Drew McIntyre. Versus my guy, Damian Priest.
In a street fight.
In a Sin City street fight. And this was one of my favorite things from the fall was Bronson Reed. Mm-hmm. All things Bronson Reed, all things chaos, all things fun. This had a lot of that in it. Mm-hmm. Where it was just, here's big thing, let me smack you with a big thing. Oh, here's another big thing. I'm going to smack you with this big thing too. And so I loved every bit of it because of that. And to contrast to night one, where it was just a straight tag match, everybody got out of their chair and was walking around. No one was leaving during this match.
Not at all. They were ready for it. And I think there was some stuff on social media that might have been like, okay, here's the order. And even when they announced it on SmackDown and they ran through both nights, I don't remember, I didn't pay close enough attention to even remember if they were announcing it in order. So there's a chance the fans were like, oh, we know this is coming up. We're going to be ready with our bladders and our food. Excuse me, but it was everything it needed to be. The new running gag of Drew taking a selfie and tweeting it at WrestleMania, 2 for 2. Keep it up, man.
I love that. I love that as a running gag for him.
And I love this character that Drew is. Yeah. I feel like he had, when he got out of the title picture, from the pandemic, and he was kind of, trying to figure out who he was. He went heel for a little bit. And he's like a comic relief character without trying to be a comic relief character. Chelsea Green, we know she's a comic relief character.
Yep.
Drew is still very much a serious guy, but he just is funny.
Yeah, he's a badass who just is a funny guy too. It's almost like Thor, almost. Although Thor's almost even more outwardly funny.
Yeah, but what I did also say when both of these men walked into the ring, I knew Drew was tall, and what I'm telling you, I'm short. I'm 5'3". People are just tall. Wrestlers are tall. Now I've noticed because obviously they've squared up Damian and Drew. I knew Drew was tall. Damian gets in the ring. I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so tall. And I'm like, I was already doing this. And he's across the arena.
We're on risers and you're looking up.
I'm looking up. Yeah, so, yeah, like you said, everything it needed to be, everything it should have been. Yeah. Crazy stuff going on with the chairs, especially at the very end with the Claymore into the chair that was around his neck. It was one of the where it was another one of those matches where it was equal parts Drew, equal parts Damian.
I do think it was more Drew, especially in the second half. Like once he kind of got Damian on the road, like poor Damian Priest. I know they even said on Raw or on SmackDown he's gonna miss some time because this dude at the end of this match gets destroyed.
And I know, and it was loud, and I don't think it came across on camera. It was loud.
The Claymore into a chair.
Well, and remember Damian trying to do old school.
Oh, yeah.
And then falling back into the tables. And so, there's moments like those, because based where we were sitting, we were behind the commentators. So, they were just so... And honestly, even when they were doing, jumps through, not necessarily this match, but jumps through the ropes, over the ropes, towards the stage.
Yeah.
Those are just so cool, because you just see them fall, and then they're just gone. You see them dive, and then they're just gone. And then that's when you look at the screen.
And that was Priest here, where it was, because it was he fell towards us. And so it's like Priest falls, you don't see him anymore, but you heard a clattering. And that clattering was a table break. I
think we saw maybe the top of the table from where we were. But they weren't stacked on top of one another like other other tables matches in the past.
And then the Claymore at the chair.
Yeah,
that's
insane.
A murder of a move.
And the chants for "We want tables" just as loud as you'd think.
Yeah,
just as loud as you think, and it was kind of cool to be part of one. And then they all went, "Hey."
This match, by the way, it was 30 seconds shorter than the triple threat match. It was the fourth longest on the show, so it got the time that it deserved too. And they really they ate up that time really, really well. I thought this was excellent, honestly. And we'll go through this whole thing. Night 2, I thought was so strong, almost the whole way through. But this is a part of it though. This match was awesome, and we have a running. It's kind of a running joke, kind of a running gag, but it's also got some truth to it. That one of my favorite matches ever is the Raven versus Big Show versus Kane triple threat match. And if that's not my favorite match, then my favorite match is TLC 2. So I love me a good here's just let me grab a thing and hit you with it match. This is one of those, and it was in the best way.
So then the next match is the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship. I'm going to try to think of who came out in order. So it was Penta first.
I have no idea.
I think it was Penta first. Nothing super crazy for him, which I also get. He was also the only one really that got, I think he was the first one to get pyro.
Oh, probably.
No, Roman got some for his...
from night 1, yeah.
From night 1, I
think Io got some after she won.
Yes, then Penta had all Penta's pyro in person. My gosh.
You know what? There was actually, and this is one thing that I think they showed better on TV. There was actually quite a bit of pyro for several people out at the very top of the casino thing. That I know I didn't notice it every time. I noticed it more when we watched it back.
Because they had the cameras pointed.
Because the cameras point up.
Yeah.
And when we were there, because that was so far above us, I definitely I only caught it a few times.
I bet that giant screen was blocking it.
Yes, so you could, but from where we were at, we could see the edges of it. Because I remember noticing it for sure during Randy's entrance, and I think Seth's. But I think when we watched it back, it was happening more often than then.
Well, I remember seeing Drew's fire on the side, but that's his normal fire.
That's his normal, yeah. So I think there was a bit more of that going on than me and you realized.
Yeah, but Penta's pyro in person, my goodness.
It's so cool. And seeing it at Raw also is so cool, because then it's down at his level versus here was more up for Mania.
The one entrance I wish I got to see is Motor City Machine Guns. Totally. I am on board that they have the best entrance right now.
Yeah.
And honestly, and now seeing Penta's in person, Penta's is right there.
I was gonna say
sorry, Mike.
Them or Penta. Mm-hmm. Them and Penta and Ray Phoenix probably also right there too. A lot of these new guys that are coming into free agency, they are immediately getting very cool entrances. So Penta, and then
he did his cool little walk just for a little bit though.
I think Dom
was
Dom. Next.
Let's
talk about that.
I think it came through.
Came through.
Peacock.
Yep.
We were in the concourse walking. We were in line waiting to get inside, and there were dirty Dom chants everywhere.
Yeah.
On a night 1 and even some of night 2, just walking around. And that's why the WWE universe is so cool. Just someone will just start a chant and we all just go. And even when we'll kind of talk about it in episode 3 a little bit, just like our interactions with just who we saw walking around the strip in Vegas, just walking around, going to get In-N-Out Burger. We saw, when we see wrestling shirts, you just say the slogan, yeah, the catchphrase, slogan, catchphrase, whatever. And they respond, and it's not weird at all. And then you go about your day. But
were you expecting this from Dominic? Like the reaction from the crowd?
Not until we had our preview podcast with you and Peter.
Yeah.
I think that's when I'm like, okay, maybe. And then and then you looked at me and you said that was the loudest.
It was too.
And it only got louder when he won.
Yeah. But I mean, entrance wise, it was right there with. I mean, I think CM Punk and Rhea Ripley.
That's
during
what you said.
Entrances. Mm-hmm. I think those two were the loudest, and maybe Cena. It got really loud for Cena.
Cena was definitely very 50-50. Are you booing or are you cheering? I mean, like,
but it was that in general loudness.
Yes, I mean, I'll get to that. Just remind me to bring that up.
So I think it's probably Cena, Punk, and Rhea were at this whole different level, and then Dom is next at time of entrance.
Yeah. But overall,
Dirty
energy,
Dom throughout the.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah.
So.
And the next up was Banana Balor.
Well, and his entrance was funny. They're like getting his mask stuck on his face.
Oh yeah.
And then Banana Balor.
Did you see what Dominic said about the mask thing getting stuck on his face? It was very funny. He did a little interview where he was talking about it, and he goes, "Well, it was the power of this luchador, who the mask was actually like an homage to." And he goes, and all these luchadors though, they're like super ugly, but they're really powerful. So I'm trying to take it off. And the mask is like, no, you need my power. And I'm like, no, I don't. I'm my own man. And I rip it off.
Oh my gosh.
It was very funny. Dominic, very fun. And I think that's part of why so many people, myself included, are really getting behind Dominic, is we are seeing more and more of just the fun guy that he is.
Well, he's getting better.
Yes,
he's getting better in the ring. And then like this whole storyline of him just trying to add in another member. Finn's kind of treating him like garbage, and now we're kind of turning on Finn. We're going more towards Dominic. Yes. I mean, especially when you come out after Dom and you look like a banana. I actually don't know if Finn really had much of a pop in either direction, and it came through.
I think he got more boos.
One thing I pointed out was, you came up with it, this was the second time, I think, that Finn did.
Oh, you pointed this out.
Yeah, so I think, as I saw it on social media, he did his initial like little move.
Yeah.
And then
from
he
the
turned
old song.
And then he turned it, and I was like, what's going on? Because then we were also debating too, okay, after Dom won the title, we had that little, I mean, even when we were walking back to the hotel, we were like, okay, who turns on who? Does Finn turn on Dom? Does Dom turn on Finn? And I was like, if he's doing this, it could be that Dom turns on Finn, and we're starting to get a Finn babyface. Or does Finn turn? I mean, anything's possible. Right now, it's still very hostile. They're trying to act like they're friends, but the fact that because also the camera framed it perfectly, and they had the shot up when Finn's there and Dom is just basically Randy Orton. He's ready to strike, and he said, "Yeah, I mean,
we'll get there. That's in the match."
Yeah, well, no, we're in it. Oh no, because Braun. There's a lot of barking.
Yeah, lot of barking.
Nothing super crazy. Nothing super crazy entrance wise. Just a lot of barking. I didn't bark. I didn't want to hurt my voice.
In the lead up, pre-WrestleMania, do you think the plan was a babyface Balor turn with Dom remaining heel, or do you think the plan was Finn's the heel, Dominic's gonna be the babyface? Which way do you think going into WrestleMania? Which way do you think they were planning on
going into WrestleMania? I guess it, because either way, no matter the way it is, I think it might be where Finn was going to be the babyface, because either way it's going to be Dom, Liv, and Raquel together.
And Carlito, I think.
Yeah, Carlito just kind of goes with the masses, and then when JD comes back, he'd be with Finn. But if you want to keep it 3 versus 3, you have Carlito sign with Finn. But it doesn't really matter. I think. I mean, I'm really kind of torn. I think, in my mind, just the lead up, Finn was definitely going more of the heel route with Dom being babyface. But in terms of were they gonna kick Finn out? Or was Finn going to try to stomp him and basically say, I'm my own man now and, like, pull himself out? That probably would have been the more likely option. It's like, I'm no longer part of the Judgment Day. I'm done.
Very
so
Jey
he's
Uso
the heel. And then he's the heel.
Sure.
And the others are and Judgment Day is babyface. But
okay, let's go to the moment you're talking about. Because in the match, honestly, it was just a lot of generic fun and awesomeness. Right? Like Penta being Penta. Braun Breaker being Braun Breaker, right? Just like these dudes are awesome. But the moment of the match, and I think, honestly, in my brain, when I think back to WrestleMania 41, one of the iconic shots of the whole show is Dom, when he sees Finn on the ropes, and Dom looks at him, and I don't know what he says, but he mouths something, and he looks around, and the fans start going ballistic, because we see it too.
And this was the turnaround for Dom. This is when we knew he's winning.
Yep. And he goes to hit that 619, and Balor caught that one. But that was the moment where it's like, okay,
we're like, this is actually going to happen.
And I like how, the end of the match then too, because then they kind of get into it a little bit too, but the end of the match is the, Finn has it won. Dom splashes onto Finn for the win. A little similar to the opener. A little similar in that regard. It had different dynamics to it, so I think it works. But that was one criticism I kind of saw on Twitter afterwards, was like they were very similar.
Oh yeah, I
finishes,
guess.
But the dynamics are so different there. So to me, it was different enough in that regard. And then one of the great moments too after the match. Dom goes to celebrate, he goes to leave, and then he comes back in.
Because the fans are so behind him, and he basically is like, I'm having my WrestleMania moment. I'm running back down and celebrating with these people. And the commentators mentioned that too. I mean, just they're like, this is his moment. Like, he deserves this. Like, and the fans were all for it.
I hope if he goes and leans in a babyface manner, I'm hoping it is a bit of a mix of MJF and Eddie Guerrero. Like, he's our scumbag kind of way of MJF, and the very fun, still cheating kind of way of Eddie Guerrero. Because I really think that is where Dom has thrived the most. You can see, I mean, look at the man, and you see how much influence Eddie had on him. And you can see how much he's been leaning into. I think the he's our scumbag aspect of the MJF babyface turn from a couple years ago in AEW, I think that's an aspect to bring into it for Dom. And I think it could totally work. If it's a little bit of Eddie, a little bit of MJF, I think Dominic could be awesome and very fun. Speaking of people having the WrestleMania moment, you got to have your WrestleMania moment next.
Okay,
ladies and gentlemen, my wife turned into a puddle.
Okay, so first, it's the Randy Orton versus mysterious opponent. Randy comes out. That was obviously super fun. Matt being from St. Louis, it's very special. And so then he cuts the promo, and he's like, okay, so who's going to do it? It's my 20th WrestleMania. I'm here. Anybody, come out.
And I think...
And who in your mind, who were you expecting? I think we kind of talked about it with Peter, but like day of, who were you thinking?
So Rusev was kind of the leading name.
Yeah.
Out there. I'm trying to remember right now. Here on the spot, I'm forgetting who I was kind of...
Well, I think I
ended up settling on.
I think you might have said Rusev, and you said Sami.
Sami Zayn, that's it.
And I said Rusev, and we locked that in that opening promo.
Yeah, because and part of my logic behind Sami Zayn, and this works perfectly for who it ended up being, Randy needs to win. And if it was Rusev or Aleister Black, who a lot of people really wanted it to be, well, guess what? They were always going to lose this match because Randy's about to go challenge for Cena for the world title. And Sami Zayn, I thought was a perfect guy. He can come in, he can eat a loss. He's Sami Zayn, he'll be fine. Rusev, I wouldn't have loved him immediately showing back up and eating a loss like that. Even if it is to Randy Orton.
Well,
but,
and Sammy could have cut a promo saying like, we both have history with Kevin. I'll help you out. Like I'll accept your challenge.
And
like I'll give you your moment. Like
and in that promo, Sammy could easily also say, and you know what? I'm still not 100% either. I'm still injured. So even though I'm injured, I will still fight you and I can lose then.
Yeah. So well, he probably would have said that. But then the guy that didn't cross either one of our minds. It didn't cross Peter's mind.
And we're idiots for that.
Okay. So we obviously didn't get. Because we didn't know who it was going to be. We didn't start our phones. He was the one doing most of the photos and videos because his phone has the better camera. So he had nothing going. And, let's just roll the video. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry.
We met him! So yeah, then you turn into a puddle.
Joe frickin' Hendry, guys. Yeah, I was pathetic and I have zero shame. And what made that, I told Matt later when we were walking back to the hotel, what made that extra special, I think for us, we just met him the day before and we'll show it in the next video, but he signed our WrestleMania shirt. And so in his mind, he's signing it, and in his head, he's like, they have no idea. And that just made it extra special for me. Yeah. That was what was really going through my mind. It was like, oh my gosh. But it literally was everything it needed to be, everything I would have hoped and dreamed for, if I would have known it was Joe Hendry. If you go back and onto, if you go to Joe Hendry's Instagram, it's going to be easier to find there. Or
go watch the show.
Go watch the show.
Go watch it on Peacock.
Well, there's a clip. The clip of when Joe comes out. And you, that first scream, I swear is me. I swear. It sounds just like me. I showed it to my mother yesterday at the time of this recording, and she said, yeah, that's pretty darn close. My dad watched it live. He didn't say anything, but he probably thought it was me too.
Because you did. You shrieked.
I screamed
and you turned into a
so
puddle.
loud. I was jumping up and down.
Yeah.
I mean, you hear it in the video. I can't sing, but I also wasn't trying. I was crying. I was so happy. I was like, I get to do Joe Hendry things. And it was literally the best 3 minutes and 10 seconds I could have asked for. That was not counting his entrance. That was how long the match is, according to Wikipedia. But it's everything it needed to be. Yeah. Randy got basically all of his moments in. Joe Hendry showed that he's not just a fluke. But then I watched most of the ending on the screen because I saw what he was going to do and the crowd was hyping him up when he did his little spin. I looked up. And so I think it was probably out of my peripheral, but I watched it on the screen with that RKO. So I kind of was like, man, I really wish I would have looked at the ring, but
that one was designed to be a spot for the camera.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Because you knew the pose, so you knew that was a thing for the camera.
And then we were all like, oh no. I mean, we're all so happy and he won. I wish the match would have been longer just for my sake of seeing more Joe Hendry, but it was exactly what it needed to be. Randy does Randy stands him up, being a good guy. Randy Orton's like, hey, you did this. This is your WrestleMania moment. Another RKO as he does. And then he looks down and his back's to the camera and we're all like, this is the best. And if you think of Randy even 3 years ago, this is if you would have told me he would have done this spot 3 years ago,
RK Bro loosened him up so much.
I would not have believed you, but this Randy Orton is so freaking fun. He's like a Drew McIntyre. He's not meant to be a comic relief character, but just it's who he is. And so that's part of what is coming across. And he's like, I'm going to have fun here.
And at his age, I think he realizes I don't need to be serious Randy Orton all the time anymore. I'm allowed to now just go out there and have fun. Because he's at that age where he's deserved that, you know?
And so then when he turns and he does his own pose, and then the camera zoomed in just right, and I love that he did his own pose, and then he like couldn't hold it because he started laughing at himself. Yeah, just all of it was really special. I think we saw on social media later that Joe found out like the week before, and then we went back on Joe Hendry's Twitter and we saw that he kind of tweeted hinting at it. So yeah, Joe's Twitter was very fun after that. A speculation I saw, I have no idea if it was true, is that Randy was given a list of names, and he picked Joe Hendry himself because he loves what he's been doing in TNA, and they have that partnership now with WWE, so it worked out. So just a lot of it all just felt very, very special, considering we had just met him and considering like what Randy means to Matt being from the same town. Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
I replay it in my head all the time. It lives in my head rent free.
Yeah. I think of that list of names, the only other name I saw in there that I would have thought would have been a really like perfect call, and it's not 100% biased, I promise, is Jeff Hardy. I think Jeff could have also done the same thing in terms.
It's 1,000% biased.
No, it's not, because Jeff would have had a similar thing where he comes in, everybody knows Jeff Hardy in that stadium, big woohoo, it's Jeff Hardy. You can do a relatively short match still, and he can eat the loss, right? Because like I said, that's a big part of this, is whoever it is needs to be able to take the loss. And with Joe Hendry, one of the things I really like about this too is Joe Hendry, he's not wrestler guy. He's not, he's not Bryan Danielson. He's not AJ Styles. He's not Ray Phoenix. We're like, if this was Ray Phoenix showing up for the first time in AEW, or in WWE rather, you would need it to be like a 15-minute match in order to get across the good things about Ray Phoenix. Because he's incredible in the ring. Joe Hendry is the personality. And the entrance of music, everything about the presentation, that's what gets across why people like Joe Hendry. And so even if you don't know who he is, seeing that reaction and seeing the personality in the entrance starts it. And then in the match, he gets to do a couple of, his kind of signature things. He gets to strike the pose, the boom boom clap also being a part of it too. Like, the rallying that he can do, kind of in a very Jey Uso-y kind of way. A little Usi. He's a little Usi. Joe Hendry's a little Usi in that regard. But, like, that's why it also was perfect, because it only needed to be a 3-minute match. It didn't need to be 20 minutes. This wasn't Cody Rhodes coming in. Yeah. It's a very different playing field that we're on here with Joe Hendry. He will be, I'm sure, no doubt about it, he will be WWE bound sooner rather than later, full time.
Well, because he showed up on NXT that following Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's only a matter of time now.
He's in the LA Knight mold. And I say that in a great way, where it's like LA Knight, this is the kind of match LA Knight could put on. Right? Like, if LA Knight showed up for a 3-minute match, but he gets in the LA Knight, he gets in the big elbow drop, he gets in, the catchphrases, the signature stuff. That's the kind of mold that Joe Hendry's in. He's very much an LA Knight type, and that's great and wonderful. In 3 minutes, he got through all of that. And
you definitely hear how loud it was. It does come across through on Peacock, but I can't really say, because I was part of the screaming. So, to me, it was definitely as loud, if not louder, than what it came across on TV. It was wonderful.
So they got a lot done in that match, and they really established a lot of things in such a short time. You know what match, unfortunately, really got like nothing done except for drone shots, even though it had the second longest runtime of the day? Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. I am pretty disappointed by this one because I love AJ. AJ's
this
my
match
guy.
kind of was disappointing, but also, and it's especially when you are an AJ Styles fan and you are not a CM Punk. Oh my gosh, not a Logan Paul fan.
Right.
This was all Logan offense practically the whole time, and yeah, the drone shots.
It was cool.
It was fine.
It was just taking away from other things, you know?
Yeah, and that part, like, this was a match that definitely translated much better onto TV because the drone was so heavily used and referenced.
I wish he would have hit AJ with the drone.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
And also, and one thing that, I mean, just that upset me as a viewer and also as an AJ Styles fan, I did not see a phenomenal forearm, but his hair is just as lovely and luscious in person. We will talk about that in episode 3 because we got to meet him.
Pretty great hair.
Lovely man. Lovely man. We did have a sign. We said, what did we say?
Did we have one
AJ,
for... Save Our Honeymoon.
AJ Save Our Honeymoon, yes.
Yeah.
So...
which unfortunately he didn't. Our honeymoon's still great. Don't worry, guys. The honeymoon's still great.
Well,
fun,
we'll talk about it.
There.
That sign referenced a sign that we took to WrestleMania World when we met AJ, and we'll discuss that in episode 3.
My biggest probably missed opportunity for this match, really. So the Jackass friend, not Jackasses in the Sami Zayn match from a few years ago. Mm-hmm. The jerkwad guy. I have no idea what his name is, but the guy that shows up for Logan Paul matches about once a year, really. He shows up, brass knucks in hand, which I really don't know why Logan needs the brass knucks because they make such a big deal about him having the titanium plate in his hand. So why does Logan Paul also need brass knucks? I don't know. But he shows up to give it to him. Karrion Kross stops him. And the place goes nuts. Now, Karrion Kross is from Vegas. I think a lot of us, myself definitely included, have really enjoyed Karrion's interactions with people dating back to at least the New Day last year.
When he was trying to basically get Xavier to turn on Kofi.
Yeah, and it wasn't even necessarily like he was trying to get it to happen. He was almost just like, it's very subtle stuff that he does, really, in a way. Mm-hmm. And sometimes he doesn't even talk. Sometimes he's just in the background shots, right? And then the guy later on turns heel, and it's like, oh, Karrion Kross probably had something to do with that, didn't he? So to see the reaction that Karrion Kross is getting, I would have really liked if him and AJ, if he then kind of had his own face turn there. And, you know, him and AJ worked to, not that it had like worked to like Kross hits a move, but like, you know, Kross stops the brass knucks and that leads to the AJ win. And then you almost see a bit of a partnership there for a bit coming out of it. It's not going that direction. Kross is still just going to kind of be Kross. And that's fine too. But yeah, no, I just thought a little bit of missed opportunity there. And then, I love the story though of Kross being so, you know, taking it very personally with the Logan Paul, you know, YouTuber beating the best wrestler, what that means for the locker room kind of part of the story.
Well, and so there was, after the show, there was like a little like press interview thing. I think it might have been on like the Raw recap.
I think it was Sam Roberts.
Thing. It was the Sam Roberts, whatever his show is. Go look that up if you haven't watched it. It's a very powerful 2.5 minutes. It quickly went from character Karrion Kross to man Karrion Kross.
But but the thing I love about though, it was still also in character. It was Kross.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't just now I'm whatever his real name is.
No, it was in character, but you could tell the feelings that he had between like what his character would have been feeling versus the man, the real life guy felt. That line blurred real quick.
But he kept it in there though. And that's what I loved about it, because there's a lot of times I feel like, especially right now, where we're seeing Dwayne just show up on Pat McAfee show, and now I'm Dwayne Johnson wearing my glasses with a shiny silver shirt, and I'm not the final boss at all. But Kross kept it so good because he kept on circling it back to AJ, and circling it back to this match, and circling it back to his character and his character's frustrations. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I really liked about it, because I feel like we're seeing a lot these days of complete out of character, and that's fine, and it's fun too. But you know, in particular with Dwayne, you know, which I love Rock, but especially with Dwayne, it's becoming a lot right now.
Yeah.
And so to see Kross do it in such a masterful way of circling it back into my character, you know, Karrion Kross did not like that AJ Styles lost this match to Logan Paul. I love the way that he handled it entirely. It was a perfect balancing act.
Yeah.
It really was.
Well, there at Raw the next night, we saw several signs
Yeah.
saying, like, we want Karrion Kross, save Karrion Kross, give Kross more time. And then I think he had a promo backstage, and that pop was loud.
Yeah.
Like, we are on his side. So, yeah, that's all I have to say for that match.
Yeah. So, also people with questionable booking going on right now. So, Lyra Valkyria, she needed a new partner because Bayley got taken out. And I don't think, did we know about that when we did the preview? I don't think we did.
No, because that happened on the pre-show, which was when we found out on social media while we were sitting in the venue night one.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh.
Yeah, so
we were also expecting pre-show to be airing in the venue.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, so we were like, oh, it's on?
Yeah, so Bayley gets taken out backstage in a manner very similar to Jade Cargill, who was taken out backstage while being involved in a storyline with the women's tag team titles. Bayley gets taken out backstage in a manner very similar to Lita about 2 years ago now. Being taken out backstage in a storyline involving the women's tag team titles. So now Bayley gets taken out backstage in a storyline involving the women's tag team titles. And so Lyra needs a replacement. And pretty much immediately, I think it was 95% chance it was going to be Becky Lynch.
And we talked
I thought
about
it
that
could have
with
been
people
Alexa
around
Bliss.
them. Yeah, I think those are the only two.
That was about it, really. Like, I had okay, maybe there was like a 1% Nikki Bella, a 1% Lita, a 1% Trish. It's 95% going to be
1% someone from NXT.
Sure. Yeah, a Roxanne maybe, or if Lyra had any connective tissue to people in NXT that we don't know about, okay, maybe there's something like that happens, but it was going to be Becky. And watching it back on TV, Lyra's face, you could tell how happy she is about this being Becky Lynch. Because Lyra, who I'm friends with now, by the way, because her golf cart almost ran me over, but I got to tell her that Rebecca really likes her hair. It was one of my favorite interactions the whole weekend. But my friend Lyra, she comes out for her entrance in feathers and stuff, but she is just beaming as she's going down that entrance ramp.
This was her first WrestleMania. This was her first WrestleMania.
Yes, which that would cause emotions too, but especially because we watched it back knowing.
Well, yeah, I think she did. Her smile did get pretty big once she used her feather wings to then point.
Yeah, she was almost in tears, which was awesome to see. I was very happy for my friend Lyra as my friend Lyra becomes double champ Lyra. Mm-hmm. Lyra 2 belts. My friend 2 belts. Lyra.
And, I mean, yeah, Becky got a pretty big pop.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, people were very into this being Becky.
I think I didn't necessarily cheer. I just started singing her song. So, yeah, I feel like it sounded loud. But I don't know. I mean, definitely it wasn't the biggest pop of the night, which I think in the end kind of shocked me a little bit because of knowing who Becky is. But yeah, definitely wasn't the biggest pop. But I mean, it was still a big one.
And I think part of that also plays into people like Liv Morgan. People love Liv Morgan, and so Liv and Raquel, okay, I think people can kind of do, I think the best thing that Raquel's got going for her is that she's attached to Liv. But people love Liv though, and so I think that was a bit of it. Is that a lot of people saw Becky Lynch walk down that ramp and went, "Oh, Liv's losing," and they were right. Honestly, this match was only 8 minutes and 40 seconds. It felt that way. This felt like the shortest match of the night. Even though, because Joe Hendry was so packed.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so, the Joe Hendry was such a blur. This one just felt quick.
It was.
Which is what it was going to be when Becky comes in. Because it's not like she was going to put on, a 25-minute banger in her first match in almost a year.
And overall, I mean, we'll talk about it after the end of this next match, but it not only felt like a fast night, it was a fast night. So,
yeah. But yeah, they get the win here, though. So Becky and Lyra become tag team champions, which I thought was really cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we'll talk about the Raw stuff when we get to the Raw thing.
I have nothing really to say. I think I wasn't really shocked, so.
So then, give me a hell yeah. So this, then, Stone Cold. So night 1, we had Shawn Michaels come out, dancing and showing off the card. Night 2, we have Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Hearing the glass
probably
break.
a few Steve Weisers in already. Driving 45 miles an hour down that ramp. Yes, hear the glass break.
In person was electrifying.
Yeah, the Austin pop is real.
It was awesome. Yeah. I was like, I can now say I saw this. I've experienced it. It was awesome.
Well, one lady experienced a lot.
And we saw it, like,
Stone Cold goes around the thing.
He went.
And bam, right into the barricade.
He went. I mean, like, obviously the cameras are having to change shots super fast. He went just
flying.
as fast, if not faster. Matt was like, oh my gosh, he's taking those turns fast. And I'm like, I thought he came down the ramp super fast. I was like, oh no, he's going to hit the ring. I was like, what is going on? But then when you go back and watch, you see he's smiling and laughing.
Oh,
like,
he's having a great time.
I was like, oh gosh.
He's having a great time.
And then right away, they were like, people were like, oh no, she fell. and we're like, is his 4-wheel just stuck? And we're like, and then he just walks up the ring at the very end. We're like, is someone getting that?
And then he does the whole counting thing, which, because he's Stone Cold, he knows that the what chance can be a part of it, right?
That was so fun.
So he tees it up 1, what, 2, what, 3, what, right? So he tees it up for us to have fun with that. Drink some Steve Weisers, calls it a day. And it was good.
And it was
Stone
everything
Cold.
it needed to be.
Now, one thing, and I said it to you when it happened. The one thing I had about the Stone Cold moment, which lays even thicker now, is we've heard the music, we have seen Stone Cold Steve Austin. Mm-hmm. In general, I would fully expect you're not seeing anybody twice in a night, right? Unless it's like a genuine shock, oh, this person's aligning with this person kind of a thing. You know, that could happen. Or if they're already in a stable, that kind of a thing, right? In general, though, like Stone Cold, you're not seeing Stone Cold twice. Mm-hmm. So when the music hits, you get the glass shattered, you get Austin driving 45 miles an hour, you get Stone Cold drinking some Steve Weisers, that's it for Stone Cold tonight. So I said to you,
he's not showing up.
He's not coming out in the main event.
Yeah.
So that already, and here's the thing, I diagnosed that. I still never once though had a doubt that The Rock would be there. I just thought that, this means Austin's not coming to help. Mm-hmm. You know, now did that mean, I mean, look at last year. Austin wasn't there, but Undertaker was. So that was also a little dead man in the back of my head was, ooh, maybe we're going to get Undertaker then.
You hear another very girly scream at the first song.
But that was kind of maybe in hindsight should have been the first clue or second clue of how this main event was going to go. So let's go to the main event here. John Cena, Cody Rhodes. So John Cena, plain black background, white text.
It was strange.
It was eerie.
Because mind you, this is 7:00. It's still sunny out, even with the dome. So it translated much better on Peacock. Just all the black.
Yeah. The darkness.
The darkness. And it translated much better at Raw too because it was a more enclosed area. Yeah. So we did get to feel it, feel what it was supposed to be. But it was eerie. I was like, this is weird because the graphics all changed, but the music didn't. And I think that's the intention, is so we can still chant John Cena sucks. I don't think we're gonna have a music change. And I think if we're going to have a music change, it would have been at Mania. I don't think it's gonna happen at Backlash, unless
that'd be weird.
Yeah,
that would just feel weird.
But like now that he has the title and it's the first premium live event that he's defending it,
I almost feel like Raw after Mania would have been the spot.
Probably, yeah.
You know,
that's a good point. So yeah, it's not changing. So I mean, it's definitely it was very odd. It was eerie and like so. Yeah.
And then Cody comes out. He's got the motorbikes, doing a cool
I thought
show.
At first I thought it was like just like the screens. I didn't realize they were real bikes at first.
Oh really?
Yeah. I was just like, why? I was very confused.
The red, white, and blue smoke on the screens, that was cool. I wish it would have been real.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to give me smoke, give me real smoke. Don't give me virtual
Cody
smoke.
should have been a much flashier entrance.
Yeah, which is funny to say about a guy who got motorcycles. But
and he had the Triple H-esque kind of mask.
He did, and he had the Cody Vader made its return too.
Yeah.
So there was like,
I felt like that Cody Vader should have been up more.
Okay,
I felt like that because I'm not even sure I realized that's what happened until we watched it on Peacock. I was like, it's the Vader.
I think if the red, white, and blue smoke would have been real, then it would have felt like a Mania entrance. Mm-hmm. I think that would have helped a lot. Or you're right, Cody Vader up earlier because I think a lot of us in the crowd.
We couldn't tell. It was all hidden.
See back there.
Yeah, it was hidden.
Yeah. So Cody comes down, and this match was John Cena match where the heel is also John Cena now. So if you've watched wrestling in the 2010s or the late 2000s, John Cena is kind of slow in the ring. He's not AJ Styles. But
he is not a luchador.
When he's in the ring with AJ Styles, and AJ's the heel, and AJ kind of gets to do all his cool moves and beat up John Cena for Cena to then make the comeback and win, AJ's doing cool stuff, and it keeps you really engaged. In this scenario, it was Cena as the heel, and so it was Cena's offense, but slower, right? He does a shoulder tackle.
Very slow.
Then we get up, and we look around, and then Cody gets up, and we do another shoulder tackle, and we get up, and then you can't see me to the crowd. It was very slow.
And it was slower, and it was too slow. It was kind of like the Tiffy Charlotte.
A little bit. Mm-hmm. And here's the thing though. I was forgiving of it in the moment because
we were waiting
I knew
for
what
the
was
big.
coming.
We were waiting for the big stuff. And
because I knew we were going to get the fireworks. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. I knew fireworks were coming. So I'm okay with sitting here and waiting for the fireworks to start. I'm okay with, okay, the sun's going down. It's 4th of July. It's just going to take a while. Right now, we're just watching the sun, right? It's nothing special. But fireworks are coming, and fireworks are cool. So I'm fine with just sitting here in my lawn chair watching the sun for 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. Then the fireworks didn't show up. It was just the rapper.
It was just... Then Fiend started playing, and we were all like... And, the atmosphere changed. And it wasn't... And you could tell it was not because Travis Scott came out. It was because when Travis Scott came out, we expected someone to be following.
Yep. That's exactly... Because I think we even talked about it.
You felt that there. It's okay,
Yeah. It was the start of the match.
If it was, even say it was Bad Bunny in this situation, mm-hmm. and when that heel turn happened at Elimination Chamber, it was Bad Bunny in the ring, not Travis Scott. You'd have the own kind of energy for Bad Bunny because
Absolutely.
of who Bad Bunny is and what he's already proven in the ring. There was not really any of that for Travis Scott. No. It was, oh my gosh, The Rock's coming.
Yeah.
The Rock's next.
It's the beacon of the doom.
And the anxiety went up, and you felt
mm-hmm.
it, and you're just
because
waiting.
Literally, as they said in Marvel, okay, now we're in the end game, right? Here's the thing, and I think there was the one super AA off the top where I was like, oh, that usually wins. Outside of that one moment, I never once thought the match was ending before Travis Scott showed up. Because it's oh, well, we know how this is going to go. It's like, and I think I mentioned this to you, it felt to me like John Cena was trying to wrestle a Roman Reigns match. But he doesn't have Jimmy Uso, Jey Uso, Sami Zayn, and Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman. He just has Solo Sikoa, the worst member of that group, right? He just has Travis Scott. He doesn't have the rest of them. And so I felt like a lot of that match was very much kind of like a lot of Roman Bloodline matches were, where it's very kind of slow, except Roman does it faster and has some explosive coolness to it. And Roman had a lot of really cool opponents that, kind of went alongside with it. So there's been a variety here versus this is Cena's first one. And by the way, this is Cena's first time wrestling as a heel in 23 years, 22 years. So it's just not a muscle he's flexed much, And so I think that a lot of this was very John Cena wrestling a Roman Reigns type of match from a template standpoint. And the ref... By the way, this is also another thing. And I don't think I realized it in person. I realized this on Peacock when we watched it back. So the referee gets knocked down, right? Cena takes off the turnbuckle, doop, hits Cody Rhodes in the head with it. I did not quite click in my brain the fact of just how stupid this all makes Cody Rhodes look. So maybe I should wait to get into that after we get done with kind of the play-by-play part here. So I'll table that for a moment. I'm going to sit that over here.
We're kind of done.
We are.
We're kind of in it, okay, so just go for it.
Okay, so Cena hits him in the turnbuckle. 1, 2, Cody kicks out. Okay. Ref is up. And at this point, the Travis Scott music hits. the Travis Scott gets a full entrance.
And the ref's seeing this.
And the ref is there. And this is not a no DQ match. To me, this is like the fundamental difference between 41 and 40's endings here. WrestleMania 40, a lot was made out of the fact that it was a no DQ match. There was an entire match on night 1 where the whole reason that match existed was to make match number 2 no DQ, so that way we can have all the fireworks. And by the way, you want big entrance, you want to hear a do John Cena entrance, you got it because it's no DQ. I can allow it. You know, the Undertaker's gong, I think, is a little bit of its own world because he's kind of a supernatural character. So I think that I can let kind of stand on its own. You know, The Rock's music hitting. Well, he's the director of the board, so there's a bit of influence from that. Also, again, though, it's no DQ, so I'm cool with it.
And even if The Rock's music would have hit in 41,
he's director.
you can, and then you can justify, I brought Travis here. Like, we didn't expect Travis to get very far down the ramp. Or, I mean, maybe to ringside and then The Rock comes out. But, like, if anything, we would have expected them to walk together.
Either Rock or someone comes in to thwart him. Mm-hmm. One of the two. My pitch was Bad Bunny to show up and take out Travis Scott. But I hated how stupid this all made things in general look. But in particular, Cody Rhodes then, right? Okay, so it made the ref look stupid and WWE as an entity look stupid because why is he getting a full entrance and taking forever? I think he's still walking down that ramp. I don't think he ever actually made it. I think we just saw an illusion that got, crossroads. I don't even know if he is still walking in Vegas because it took him forever. And so Cody looks stupid sitting there. The ref looks stupid not holding him. John Cena looks stupid because the ref is standing. And Cena holds Cody to get hit by Travis Scott right there in front of the referee. That would have probably been a DQ.
On to Cena.
And it's a little bit different, again, if you have The Rock there, because The Rock, as director of the board, his character can say, hey, you are not going to DQ him or you're fired. He has that kind of power to throw around, right? Again, in another way where if The Rock would have been there, it would have made a little bit more sense. But okay, so now the ref looks stupid because he is just like not doing anything about any of this. WWE as an entity looks stupid because this is happening in a match with a DQ potential finish. John Cena looks stupid because he would have been DQ'd. The title doesn't change hands on DQ. And then Cody Rhodes takes out Cena, knocks him out of the way, takes out Travis Scott. Okay, cool, wonderful, right? Cena goes to hit him with the title. Cody tussles it away from him. Cody goes to hit him and doesn't. So now Cody Rhodes looks stupidest out of everybody. And I've already ranted to you once about this, so I'm sorry you're going to hear it again. But Cody Rhodes' entire character journey has gone on this path multiple times. I thought of another one, by the way, at 3 a.m. last night. So the two I've already ranted to you about. Number one, the AJ Styles feud in the summer. A lot of that feud was built around AJ being kind of old and doing whatever he had to do to win. Cody finally getting to that point of saying, okay, you know what? If you're gonna do it, if you're gonna entice, provoke it, fine. I'll hit you with the steel stairs. You said I quit. I'm hitting you anyway because you deserved it at that point, right? Cody being kind of a badass, not an idiot. It's very post Civil War Captain America, where it's like he's still Captain America. He still is the best dude. But if you provoke him, he's not an idiot. He's going to do what he needs to do. The Kevin Owens feud. You tried to break my neck, Kevin Owens. So yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to powerbomb you through a ladder and fold you like an accordion. You made me do it. John Cena turned heel on him at Elimination Chamber and has talked about how he's going to ruin wrestling this entire time. He's provoked it. He's earned this. And the other example I thought of this too, this is what I thought of at 3 a.m., the Brock Lesnar feud. Where Brock Lesnar a couple years ago, in storyline, broke his arm. Cody had the titanium thing, and he didn't want to use it, right? Because Cody's like, look, dude, I got this for protection. I don't want to use it. But Brock provoked it. So what did Cody do? Smacked him with the titanium thing, locked it in Kimura of his own, tried to break Brock's arm back, right? So, the entire... What keeps the difference between Cody Rhodes and, 2009 John Cena is all of that, right? This was Cody Rhodes standing there being 2009 John Cena and looking like an idiot doing it and just totally character assassination I think is the way to describe what happened to Cody here. So Cody doesn't hit him with the belt, eats a low blow, hit by a belt, 1, 2, 3.
Well, and one thing that I pointed out to you is, I saw it in person, and it showed it also on camera. When he decided, I'm not going to hit him with the belt, you were too close to John. You should have, done it and, turned away.
Oh, don't turn your back.
Well,
that would look stupid
not
too.
turn away, but, back up.
Sure, take steps back.
Yeah, he was way too close, and so, John taxed him really fast.
Yeah.
Very quick, very fast. It ended up being 21 minutes long, and we were just and that's it.
14 of those were Travis Scott walking to the ring.
And, either way, we were and then I think we were waiting. The intensity was up.
Yeah.
He starts back, he does this thing. We look up. We're waiting. Everyone has their phones out. You see the credits. And we're huh? And we're looking at each other. And then the crowd didn't really start peeling out for another couple of minutes. We were we're making sure. And then I think when Cody finally stood up, we were it's actually over. And we looked at the clock. It was 7:40.
Yeah.
The night before ended at 8.
Yeah.
Or a little after 8. And we were you kidding me? That's it?
Right. There was 20 minutes of The Rock to do stuff still on the clock.
If they were trying to do where they maxed it out at 4 hours kind of thing.
Yeah. Especially because night 1 did. So we, I think, had every expectation to believe that night 2 would also. And so
there's definitely a weird buzz. We were all very confused.
A lot of people, and I think us to an extent included, we were happy to be there for the history, though.
Yeah, and everyone was, and we walk out of the concourse, walk out of the arena, let's go Cena sucks chance, just as we came in. It was,
and I
think everyone was very happy of what they witnessed, but
Sure.
we were all still, there definitely was a thing in the air, did we miss something?
Right. That,
we didn't get
the thing that we were supposed to get this entire time.
And we're all why not?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think the Rock not being there is problem number 1, because so much of this was built by the Rock, and he talked on Pat McAfee in just you can go find it for yourself and get the details of it, but more or less he was well, we did the heel turn. My hands are clean, man. Yeah, you guys run with it, I handed you the ball. You guys go run now. But you're a part of this play, Dwayne.
It wasn't that Cody didn't. It was that Cody didn't sell his soul to you. No,
yeah.
Okay, so John Cena did. And Cena did. Yeah, and so I think it kind of made sense that Rock was not involved in the lead up because you really wanted to build this dynamic between Cody and Cena a little bit.
I think it could have used one appearance, though.
Maybe. Even a video.
Yeah.
A video promo. But yeah.
Yeah, so look, The Rock not being there was a major problem. Cody looks like an idiot. Ref looks like an idiot. Cena looks like an idiot. WWE as an entity looks like an idiot. The only person who looked cool, I guess, is Travis Scott.
Sure.
I guess he's the only one who doesn't look like an idiot at any point. Sure. And he gets laid out by a crossroads. I never... It never even crossed my mind as a realistic possibility that only Travis Scott was going to show up. Really. Yeah. And maybe that's part of the... I do think it could have led to a slippery slope for WrestleMania 42 if this one also had an Avengers Endgame type of feel. Of, hey, Travis Scott shows up, Bad Bunny comes and takes him out. Rock shows up, Stone Cold shows up. They're all over the place. Cena, AA wins number 17. I think then we get to WrestleMania 42 and the baked-in expectations for another Endgame.
Well, we almost were expecting it for this one and we didn't get it.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And that's where I was going. Is the difference there is you could set up the main event of 42 to not have so many extra characters. As opposed to this one, specifically The Rock was set up as a character in this match for this match and for this story, and not coming through on that part really sucked and put a big old fat damper on what was otherwise an excellent night. Really, if you put night 1's main event in the night 2 main event slot, night 2's one of the best nights of WrestleMania ever.
Yeah, I agree. But
unfortunately the main event is so much of what you feel coming out of it that it takes it down quite a bit notch. I saw, everybody loves Dave Meltzer. I saw he said this is one of the worst WrestleMania main events ever. And of the ones I've seen, I can't disagree with that.
I agree. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
And what's funny, I think we were talking, I think almost every show me and you have been to, the heels end up winning at the end of every show. Both nights of WrestleMania this year.
Yep.
Seth, well, in my opinion, Seth was his babyface. So it was a Paul Heyman babyface turn to me. But I know you were not feeling that way.
No, and we'll pop up a picture here. This is what you changed the sign to. We didn't actually, I don't think we showed
it. Oh, you're right.
We didn't show it night one, so we'll show it here. Yeah, this is what he changed the sign to. We are Paul Heyman people too. Matt is a Paul Heyman person. So yeah, I mean, with all that said, we have no regrets of what we did going to WrestleMania. This was still very much a WrestleMania to remember in multiple senses. It was very, very...
Both nights as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When we talk right now about WrestleMania X7, we go, oh, that's the one where Austin turned heel. When we talk about WrestleMania 20, oh, that's the Eddie and Benoit one. When we talk about WrestleMania, I don't know.
I can already give you the answer. This is the question that you're going to be asking.
26.
What are we going to remember from this WrestleMania?
What are we going to say? This is
when
one.
Paul Heyman turned heel and joined Seth.
Yeah. We're talking about that over the 17? Because I agree.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
I agree. I think this is the one.
I think this is the one where Paul Heyman turns on.
It being 2 nights, I think you can actually get away with both better than the way you used to.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I agree though. I think the most memorable vision I have is it's number 1 for me is you turning into a puddle over Jen Hendry. But that's like a personal moment thing. As far as like the visual of the stadium goes, my number 1 was Seth reaching his hand out with the chair. Like
mm-hmm.
looking down,
looking at his back and seeing his
back and see Seth Rollins just bring out his hand.
Not knowing what his face was doing.
No, but honestly, I didn't need to.
Yeah.
I really didn't need to know what his face was doing because him reaching out that hand told me everything I needed to know. That was my number 1. Number 2 is Dominic cursing up a storm, looking at the back of Finn Balor's head.
I'll remember him running back down to the ring.
Yeah, and then that too. Honestly, yeah, two Dominic Mysterio moments are up there, and then Io Sky pointing at herself because she's awesome. And then after that, it probably is then the big old 2D fart that was the main event. Because the song kind of sounds like a fart.
Oh, okay.
Fiend. I never need to hear that song again. Never again. I'm good. Do you? But by the way, speaking of never hearing that song again, when do you think we see Travis Scott again in WWE ring?
Never.
I mean, that's a real possibility.
It's very possible.
It's very possible. It's never. Man, as much as it would suck to have just like a random loose end be a part of the 17th world title change, if I'm sitting here thinking to myself, what would I rather see play out here? What's my best case scenario? Either he never comes back and it's just this weird loose end of the John Cena heel turn and the 17th world title reign. Or the other option here is he never shows up on Raw or SmackDown. Like, that hasn't happened yet. It didn't happen again this week immediately after. So let's just say he never shows up on those two. He's just a part of, like, the big title matches. Like, he's a part of, like, whenever the Punk match happens. He's a part of the Money in the Bank title match. He's a part of the SummerSlam title match. And then, like, he's a part of whenever Cena loses it. I think I'd rather just be a loose end that never gets talked about again. And we just pretend it didn't happen. I don't know. I don't love it. I want Bad Bunny to come in here, do a bunny hop, put his head in the canvas, and that be the end of it.
And that's kind of a good way for us to wrap up night 2. Yeah, best honeymoon probably that we could.
Oh my goodness, incredible! And we're gonna talk more about that kind of stuff in episode 3, in part 3, Revenge of the Sith of the podcast. Here, that's when we're gonna get into a bit more of the honeymoon excursion parts of this. So that's when we're gonna talk about WWE World. That's when we're gonna talk about the Raw after Mania. That's when we're gonna talk about WrestleCon, making friends with the inspiration Peyton Royce and Billy Kay, as well as me making friends with my friend Lyra. So we're gonna talk about that kind of stuff in part 3. Thank you for joining us on this journey of parts 1 and 2. That's Rebecca again. Oh, man. Oh, man, I did it again. That's Rebecca Mormon. She's my wife. She took my last name. I love you. This is Matt Mormon. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to like and subscribe right here on the Views from the 573, as well as the entertainment from the 573. Ryan McDaniel, by the time this is posted, probably already has up an NFL draft recap and review. So check out Ryan's thoughts on all things Shadur Sanders and that fall to round 5. Oh boy. As well as all things, Ravens, Steelers, Titans, and Chiefs, and all the great picks all of our favorite teams made. We will see you guys next time as we talk about everything else with WrestleMania 41. I almost said 42. WrestleMania 42 with Rebecca Gay and Jamela. Oh no. See you guys next time. Part 3 of this 3-part podcast coming your way next.